Hey, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully everybody's all prepared for the holiday because it's coming up fast.
Yeah, hopefully you've done all of your shopping. We finished our shopping today at Walmart. It was
Right.
crazy, and most things were already gone.
Right.
But we're going to improvise.
We weren't able to buy generic. We had to buy name brand on everything, which is like totally against like everything we stand for.
That burns me.
Right. You know, it's no better quality, but you're buying like, twice the price.
To be honest, though, this is the first year in several years that I've been able to buy like store brand stuffing mix instead of like the stovetop, because normally I am so
You don't make homemade?
I do not make homemade stuffing.
You know, there are some things that, like, I don't know, you just grew up with, and like the store bought is just, I don't know, it's like reminiscent of the holidays. You know what I mean? Like homemade is good, but like macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
You know, it's like one of those things that, like, even though you know it's terrible for you, like the cheap craft macaroni and cheese is like better than like homemade macaroni and cheese.
You know, now that I'm a grown up, I can really appreciate homemade mac and cheese.
Oh, absolutely.
And like the real cheese that's in there, but really still nothing beats Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It just reminds you of childhood.
Well, you had said like the cheap mac and cheese. But Samantha's home now for Thanksgiving break. And so I decided to pick up some things that she likes to eat. And so I picked up Kraft macaroni and cheese. You used to be able to buy Kraft macaroni and cheese for like 50 cents a box, 75 cents a box. Now it's like $1.42 or something.
Yeah.
Almost like $1.50.
I know. Nothing's cheap anymore.
Oh, man. But you know what? It's not very good food.
No. Cheap quality.
Quality-wise. Yeah. So, I don't know.
So
let's back up on the stuffing thing.
Yeah, let's.
So growing up, dogs are spunky.
There was a skunk outside. I'll tell you this. I just went out and locked up all of our animals before we jumped on here, which is why I probably look a little like crazy. But there was a skunk. I could smell a skunk out there. So our beagles, who have like the best noses ever.
They can smell a skunk inside the house without any windows open.
Right. Yes. They can.
I mean, not inside. From inside the house. A skunk outside with all the doors and windows closed.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
So if they bark, that's probably what's going on, is they know a skunk's outside somewhere. So.
Right. And as it gets cooler, when they go outside to go potty and stuff, they get like spunky. And so when they come back in, they're all like loud and running around and playing and stuff like that. And we just let them out to make sure they didn't have to go potty while we were on live stream.
Yeah.
So they're a little crazy. So back to
the stuffing.
Growing up, I never liked stuffing. I think because it was too mushy. I never ate it. I know my dad has a really great recipe. And from what people said, my grandma had a really great recipe too. But I never liked stuffing until I tried stovetop stuffing that had been finished in the oven. So that like the top is like crunchy, crispy.
Yeah.
And that's how Kevin's family makes it. And now that's how I make it. And now that's how our kids love it and kind of expect it.
So I'll tell you guys right now, Thanksgiving is Thursday. If you're not in the United States, Thanksgiving is a holiday we have here in the United States. I think other countries have it at different times, but for us, it's this coming week. But even though we do keto and we try to eat as healthy as we can year round, I'm telling you this right now, on Thanksgiving, it's all out the window.
Yes. However, last year, careful on the counter. Last year, we went like all out crazy cheat day for Thanksgiving. True. Oh, I was like so sick. I ate all the mashed potatoes and all the stuffing and at least 2 kinds of dessert and cranberry sauce, which is loaded with sugar. And I was so sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
And not only that, you know, what a lot of people don't know is that carbohydrates make you retain a lot of water. You know, obviously sodium does. Like that's a really common thing for people to understand. Sodium makes you retain water, but carbohydrates do as well. So like 2 or 3 days after Thanksgiving, when it all started clearing back out of our systems, we were in the bathroom like every hour, 30 minutes, just like flushing all of that
That's
stuff
probably
out.
enough information.
Yeah, I won't get any more graphic than that. Anyway, so I think both
But
of
yes.
us have decided we're going to cheat a little bit for Thanksgiving, but we're not going to go so
Right.
overboard.
We're going to
like
go
last
heavy on the turkey and
Yeah.
less heavy on the pie.
For sure.
But we're still going to have pie.
Yeah.
There's a tradition in my family to have a certain type of pie. Maybe I'll share the recipe with you guys later on, but it's a very it's about as bad
Oh, it's terrible for you.
of a pie as you can get.
So what you do first is you melt an entire bag of mini marshmallows in butter.
Yes. No, in milk.
No butter?
No butter.
Okay, anyway, you melt them down, you combine them with milk.
Right.
And then you whip up a bunch of real whipped cream.
Correct.
And you combine the two of those.
Right.
And then you fold in, I think, 2 cans of drained fruit cocktail.
Yes.
Okay. You fold that in. Kevin's salivating.
It's so good.
And then you put it in a graham cracker crust.
Right.
And that is split between 2 pies.
Right. That makes 2 pies.
Yeah. And then you put
one
it in
for me and one for everybody else.
And then you put it in the refrigerator at least overnight, and then it will like solidify.
Right. And it makes like a marshmallow fluff with fruit in there.
And
the
it does
graham
taste
cracker
good.
crust. It's so good.
But it's so sweet you can like feel it on your teeth.
Yeah.
It's like
that's what makes it good.
It's so sweet.
We do have dentist appointments next month, so I don't see the problem.
Well, we just got our teeth cleaned.
Right. So
yeah. Anyway, so that is Kevin's family traditional dessert.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we make it every year. The kids love it because what happens is you make the filling and it makes more than what fits in the 2 pie crusts. So there's always like this little bowl left over of the filling. And so the night before Thanksgiving, after we make the pies, we just get to eat the filling. Like we'll put it in the fridge for a couple hours so it sets up, and then we just eat the filling either with a spoon, or if we happen to have graham crackers in the house, which we don't very often anymore. But when the kids were little, we just dip graham crackers in there, and man, no wonder I weighed 30 pounds more than I do now.
Well, the other kind of unspoken rule in our family, kind of traditional after Thanksgiving and after Christmas, is that for breakfast, the next mornings after the holiday, if there is any pie left, everybody has pie for breakfast.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to do that anymore. I'm not going to have pie for breakfast.
I can't say that I won't. We have to figure out, like, is it a 24-hour?
From the time where you start?
Like, whenever the first cheat happens, then you get 24 hours to cheat. So, like, if you wait till, like, noon on Thanksgiving, do you get till noon the next day to continue to cheat?
I don't know. Well, we're eating Thanksgiving supper.
Is it rolling 24 hours, or how does it work? We need to come up with some rules for cheating. Let us know what you think we should do, because I think we should push it. I think we need some written rules here for the cheat day.
Okay. I can handle that. That's
is it a calendar day or is it a 24-hour period? Because
I wrote and enforced rules for a living. So we should have established rules so that we can maintain those and I can enforce those rules.
True.
Yeah. No. So we just kind of got off on a tangent right away there about Thanksgiving.
Right.
We didn't mean to do that. But as always, we have people helping us today, and we're so thankful. They've already checked in the comments, so make sure that you say hello.
Right. So we have our friends Rich and Shelly from Air to Ground Farms and Air to Ground Meats helping us today. They are our moderators, so they will be helping with questions. They'll also be watching the comments. And you guys, we say this every week, but if you are in Missouri, if you're in our local area and you are looking for some of the best meat that you can buy, Rich and Shelly have a store in our small town called Ava, Missouri, where they sell their farm-raised beef, pork, lamb, chicken. I think maybe some other things coming up as well, but they are, they raise the best quality meat that you can get. They raise all grass-fed and grass-finished beef. Everything they raise is non-GMO, and it's just, like I said, the best that you can get.
Yep. Also, our amazing son-in-law, Gavin, is helping moderate I'm going to put this up here. Gavin is a realtor in this area. If you are looking for land or a homestead property or even just a house in this area, make sure you give him a call. He does a fantastic job. And he just happens to be our favorite son-in-law.
Right. Yes. And he is helping moderate the questions and comments today as well.
Yes, so thank you, Gavin.
Thank
Make sure
you, Gavin,
you say
for
hello
being
to
here.
him.
Gavin got busy last week. He was out working in his shed and missed the first part of the live stream.
That's okay.
That's okay. It gives us something to talk about at Thanksgiving. It gives us something to make fun of him about at Thanksgiving dinner.
He was building shelving, which is admirable.
Right.
Yes.
True. A very manly thing to, if you're going to get busy doing something, make sure as a man, it's something manly that you forgot, that you were doing out there, like working in your shed.
Yeah.
So good for you, Gavin.
So in celebration of Thanksgiving this week, we decided that we are going to talk about Thanksgiving traditions.
Right.
And we are going to do that until 6:30, which is 20 minutes from now.
Or until we run out of things to say.
Right.
Whichever comes first.
If we're just blabbing, then we're just going to cut it short at 6:30. And then we will move into open Q&A, which is our custom so far that we've kind of established in our live streams, because we really enjoy that kind of communication with you guys and answering your questions. So that's what we're going to do. So I think we should start off by each talking about like what Thanksgiving looked like growing up as kids.
Sure.
And I think you should start.
Okay. So Thanksgiving for me as a kid, I mean, it was pretty standard. My grandma lived right next door to us growing up. So, which was a huge blessing. It was like, I mean, I don't know, having grandma, I mean, literally like in the house next door where we could just walk over. In fact, I was looking through some old pictures today, and I saw a picture of the house that I grew up in and a picture of my grandma's house right next door. And it just made me kind of sad just remembering, what great times those were. Just as a kid, just, running back and forth, going from grandma's house to our house. And so our Thanksgiving tradition was going to grandma's house, which we didn't even have to get in the car to do. And we would always have Thanksgiving dinner at grandma's house. And one of the traditions was the pie that we were just talking about earlier. We'd have all the standard stuff as well, but just, great times as a kid growing up. We didn't have to travel. We didn't have to go far. Typically in Wisconsin, by that time we had snow on the ground. So it was a very good time.
Yeah.
My grandpa, so I didn't have a grandpa. My grandma lived next door. My grandpa actually passed away when he was 49 years old. So I never knew my grandpa. I'm about to turn 49 in just a few weeks. So it's hard to believe, growing up as a kid, you always just pictured your you knew that your grandpa had passed away. You pictured that he was an old man when he passed away, but here I am. I'm about to be the same age, and it's kind of hard to believe that he was my age. I feel young. So I don't know. It's kind of brought it home for me in the last little while. But so my grandma was a widow. She never remarried. She lived next door to us, and it was kind of like having a second mom, to be honest. She was just a great lady.
She was hilarious.
She was I could tell you some of the things that she used to say, but we'd probably get banned off YouTube. So.
Well, she was a character.
She was a character.
Yeah.
She was
awesome.
She had some great one-liners, but they're probably not appropriate for this live stream.
Yeah. So. And she was living until shortly after our 1-year wedding anniversary.
Right.
So we were 23. Maybe we may have just turned 24 when she passed away.
Yeah, she had colon cancer and
very, very widespread.
Yeah, very widespread. By the time they caught it, it was very widespread. Yeah. She actually had a tumor the size of a football that they had to remove, and so she had a colostomy and things like that, and so it was quite an ordeal. She actually ended up having to miss our wedding because of that, but we were able to we went from our wedding ceremony. The whole wedding party went out to grandma's house. We were able to visit grandma at her house and see her and visit with her. So she got to see Sarah in her wedding dress, and she was so happy to see everybody. So it was,
that's a precious memory.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And we got some pictures from that day. So that's a really nice thing. And, but then she passed away. Yeah, it was 2000 that she passed away. Year 2000. So
for me, growing up, Thanksgiving looked a little bit differently because my grandparents lived in Iowa and we lived in Wisconsin. And so it was about 4 hours away. And every major holiday, we would go to grandma and grandpa's, and she would fix the main meal. There were 3 great aunts that would come with their 2 of them were married. One was never married. And my sister and I have an older sister, Elizabeth, and she's 4 years older than me. We're the only grandkids in the entire family. And we would all get together for every major holiday for supper. And my grandma was an amazing cook. And she pretty much did everything by herself. And we had a great meal together. And then we would go into the living room and just all the grownups would talk. And my sister and I would play if my sister were there. My sister oftentimes for holidays would spend the holiday with her biological dad. And so sometimes I was just the only one there. I was the youngest.
So you got all the attention?
Not really. They just kind of talked to each other. And it was common for them to all have like an after dinner cocktail. And sometimes it had one of those maraschino cherries in it. And a lot of times they would give me their little cherries. And as a kid, you didn't realize that there was also a tiny bit of,
so then you'd go to
booze
sleep
in there. And then I would go to sleep.
That's why they give it to you.
Probably.
Make that kid go to sleep.
Probably. Anyway, so that is basically how Thanksgiving was for me growing up. After my grandparents passed away, then we would get together at my parents' house, and both of my parents would make the Thanksgiving dinner and we would share it together. And that's kind of how it was.
I think one time I went to your family for Thanksgiving. Like
you may have.
Yeah. Well, we were dating, I think.
Could have been. That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. We've been married for 26 years. We've been together for almost 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
a long time.
Yeah, we're old.
We are. Yeah.
Time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I only had one set of grandparents also to celebrate with. My dad's mother died at age 42, actually, and I'm almost 49. So that puts things into perspective for me. She died of breast cancer. And my grandfather on that side of the family is just kind of estranged. So I never met him and, didn't have him as part of my family ever.
Yeah. And I think we both had grandparents, and then your grandpa on your mom's side died fairly young.
Shortly after he retired, which I think was at 65. Right. And then my grandma passed away shortly after your grandma passed away.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And my grandpa on my dad's side, we're getting into all the family details today. Yeah. My grandpa on my dad's side actually died when I think he was 60. So both my grandpas died young. He died when he was 60, and his funeral was actually on my birthday. I think it was my 9th birthday. I remember having to go to his funeral on my birthday. So that was a little sad, but so yeah, that was that.
Yeah.
I mean, I have good memories of my grandpa on my dad's side, but I don't, obviously have any memories of my grandpa on my mom's side. So
yeah.
But let's move into Thanksgiving tradition as our family.
Yeah.
So we weren't always homesteaders. We weren't always doing this type of thing. So when our kids were little, we pretty much had the standard Thanksgiving traditions, right? I mean,
absolutely.
I remember we would always try to buy a good turkey. Like even before we were raising our own turkeys, we would always try to buy a fresh, good turkey, the best turkey we could buy, because it was like one of those meals every year where you just felt like the best quality possible was what you should have.
Yeah.
And so at that time, we lived in the Phoenix area when our kids were born, and none of our parents lived by us. So a lot of years it was either just you and me and the kids. I remember one year we actually went to your boss's house for Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's right.
Your boss, Charlene.
Yep.
Remember? Because I remember Grace being in a high chair. She must have been 2 years old or less.
Yeah.
And she was less than that. She was probably not even a year old, maybe. Right. It was probably her first Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I remember them giving her a whole big turkey leg bone, and she was just like chewing on it. Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah, so that was, and then here's a fun. I just remembered a funny story. So when Sarah and I first got married, we were 22 when we got married. We continued to live in Wisconsin for a year after we got married, and then we moved to very southern Texas, the Brownsville, South Padre Island area of Texas.
Yeah, we don't talk about this much.
No.
It's just such a short amount of time.
Yeah, we were only there for about 11 months, and we decided to move to the Phoenix area because I had a friend living there. Well, we decided to move actually on Thanksgiving Day. That's when we got our moving truck, and we just decided to move on Thanksgiving Day. So we were driving from southern Texas to Phoenix, and I don't even remember where we were. It was probably somewhere still in Texas, I'm sure, because
it's such a big
Texas
state.
is such a big state.
Lasts forever.
But we stopped at a gas station to fill the truck up. We had 2 vehicles, and we stopped at this gas station, and it was Thanksgiving evening, and we were both getting a burrito for dinner, and we were walking out of the gas station, and this older couple pulled up to us in a car, and they started to talk to us a little bit and asked us if we were moving and where we were going and blah blah blah, and we told them yes. And the lady said, "So is that burrito?" Because she was behind me in line. She was like, "Is that burrito your Thanksgiving dinner?" And I said, "Yeah, unfortunately, first of all, we didn't have much money, and we were in a moving truck." She said, "Hold on just a second." And she ran back to her car, and she brought like 3 plates full of food to our moving truck. It was all the leftovers from their Thanksgiving dinner. And so we had turkey and stuffing and pumpkin pie and all the Thanksgiving stuff that this couple just gave us in a gas station parking lot.
Yep.
And we had like the best Thanksgiving dinner right there outside of a gas station, thanks to this couple that I have no idea who they were.
Yeah.
I wish we could thank them because, 25 years later, we still talk about that every Thanksgiving. What a nice thing that was that somebody did for us, because they felt bad that we had to eat burritos for Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, that was very generous.
Yeah. So there are good people out there, I guess, is the point of that story. And so it meant a lot.
Yeah.
It meant a lot because we were young kids, really on our own for the first time in our lives. And here was this nice couple who offered up a great Thanksgiving meal. So
right. Yeah. So that's where we were at 23.
Right.
And then we had kids. So then it's just the 2 of us then.
I kind of flipped back.
That's fine. Then we had kids. So then we had Thanksgiving dinners with 4 people. And then Kevin's parents moved to the Phoenix area.
Right.
And so then we started having Thanksgiving with 6 people.
Right.
And then we moved here and Grace got married. And so now we have even a bigger family Thanksgiving.
Right. And my parents moved here.
And yes. And then now also my dad has started joining us for Thanksgiving.
Right.
He arrives tomorrow. So we're just starting to grow our Thanksgiving family meals, and it has been wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have a tradition in our family now. Well, so quite a few years ago already, I think in 2012, so 12 years ago already, is when we started raising our own turkeys for Thanksgiving. So I think we have a picture. We went back through the archives. This is the very first turkey we ever raised for Thanksgiving. And there is actually a funny story. You can actually see another one in the background there too.
Oh, yeah, we did have more than one.
Yeah, we had a few. We had no idea what we were doing. We had our urban homestead. We had no idea what we were doing. So
this picture was actually taken in April.
Right.
So that's kind of important.
Tell the story about that turkey.
Well, so we had no idea what we were doing, just like Kevin said.
What type of turkeys were they?
They were broad-breasted bronze.
Correct.
So they're a breed of turkey that's not meant to last a really long time, kind of like Cornish cross chickens. And the longer they're alive, they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And so, like I said, this picture, he was already big.
Right.
And it was only April.
Correct.
So around the time when Thanksgiving came around,
Right. I think it was more like probably like October
It may
that we
have
were
been.
that we
I'm
realized.
surprised it lasted through the summer in Phoenix, honestly.
Correct. Although that area was shady.
That's true. Go ahead.
So yeah, it was probably around October that I remember going out there one day and actually calling Sarah out there. And I was like, what are we supposed to do with these turkeys? Because like we didn't really know. We didn't know how long they were. So like we had no idea what we were doing. This is like this was our very first year as like homesteading on like any big scale other than just a few chickens in our backyard. So this turkey ended up being, I don't remember how big he was. Like,
I don't know. I don't think we had a scale to measure them
Right.
unless we like used our bathroom scale.
Right. But so we ended up processing these turkeys that we were raising, and that was the biggest one. I think the rest were hens, and this guy was like the only
Yeah.
Tom. But we ended up processing this turkey, and he was so big that first of all, we didn't have a roaster big enough to put him in, and when we finally like found something to put him in, he wouldn't fit in the oven.
Well, the other thing is, he was so big, like he didn't even fit in the sink for me to like wash him off.
And we tried to find pictures. Somewhere we have pictures of that.
Him not fitting in the sink.
Right. Yeah.
Next to the sink, and his like legs are all hanging out all over the place. Yeah. And he was just gigantic.
I tried not to exaggerate, but I think he was probably around 800 pounds.
No, but I thought he was like 25 or 30 pounds.
Oh, he was.
I mean, it was a huge turkey.
Right.
Like way bigger than any turkey you could ever get in the grocery store.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we learned after that time. I remember thinking after that time, like, we probably should have done this sooner. And so like we ended up
like gotten the turkey poults like way later.
Right.
Like we had never, but at that time we had never ordered anything from a hatchery.
Right.
Like all the chickens and stuff we had always gotten like on like Chick Day at Tractor Supply.
Right. And I think when we were doing research, like we didn't know there was like heritage breed turkeys and like the fast growing, like broad breasted. So we probably looked up like how long does it take to raise a turkey? Right. And it was like, 9 months. So we got a turkey in like March.
Well, thinking the other thing is, we're like, hey, you get a turkey and then you raise it and then you butcher it right before Thanksgiving.
Right.
So we weren't like thinking that there was a time frame ahead of time that like you probably shouldn't even get the chicks until April.
Right. Yeah. So
it was fun.
Lesson learned. And now we are a little bit better at what we do. And we at least attempt to make a good guess on when to order things.
Right. And since that time, we've gone through trends, where we raise the broad-breasteds, either these bronze or the white. And, we've raised several different kinds of heritage breed turkeys, which we don't like. We don't want to do that again for several reasons. And then this year, we did broad-breasted again, broad-breasted whites, which actually wasn't our best year for growing broad-breasted turkeys. They ended up being pretty small.
Right.
We're not really quite sure what happened because we ordered a batch of the poults and split them half with Rich and Shelley from Air to Ground Farms and half with us. And theirs turned out really big and ours didn't. So we're trying to work through what happened. Anyway, we have a picture here of, hold on one second. Kevin's messing around with something. Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Here is a picture. Now, this wasn't when we butchered them, so they're still a lot smaller there, but those are 3 out of the 5, I think, that we got.
Yeah, we did not have a very good turkey year this year. So we started with 5. 1 died like within the first week after we got them. And then another one died it was like 2 months old. And like one day I just went out there and it was just, and it was just dead in the tractor that we had it in. And I'm not exactly sure why. So we never did really figure out why that one just like fell over dead one day. So we only ended up with 3 that we actually ended up getting to processing size.
Yeah. And they didn't end up getting as big as we needed them to. It will be fine.
Right.
We'll have plenty of turkey for Thanksgiving.
We're actually going to make 2 of them
We're
for
gonna make 2.
Thanksgiving. They ended up being like 12 to 14 pounds
Yeah.
dressed, which, I mean, isn't terrible.
It's fine, but that's not what we were hoping for.
Right.
So we are going to smoke one, which is our general tradition, is to have smoked turkey,
Right.
mainly because smoked turkey gravy is the best thing ever. Like
Right.
you can't have anything better than smoked
Right.
turkey gravy.
Right. So we catch the drippings
Yep.
and then make turkey gravy out of the drippings from the smoke.
And then the other one we're going to do in the oven.
Right.
Kind of more standard.
Right. So it's going to, But our tradition in our family is we always smoke the turkey.
Right.
So we brine it. What we do is we cut them in half. So we cut them, we like spatchcock them.
But then cut them in half entirely.
Right. Entirely in half. And we brine the 2 halves of the turkey. The brine recipe that I use is for every 4 cups of water, it's a 1/4 cup of kosher salt and a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. So that's the basic recipe. So you just measure out however much water you use, and then you adjust everything else. And then we had a bunch of ice. We put it in a big cooler. We leave it outside. Normally by this time of year, it's cold enough that we can just leave things outside. So we leave it outside for at least 24 hours, and then we, smoke it probably early the next morning usually.
Yeah. So I wanted to say another thing that, like, now that our family is kind of growing, because of marriage and those kinds of things, and my dad joining and Kevin's parents here and everything. Now that our kids are older, it is something new is starting to happen. For the very first time this year, both of our daughters are going to help cook different things that we're going to be eating for Thanksgiving.
True.
So I just wanted to share with you what we're going to be eating for Thanksgiving.
I was wondering. Thought maybe you were just,
I'm a nerd and I have the list on my phone of who's doing what, so I don't forget anything, really. So we will be doing the turkey.
Right.
Grace is doing the mashed potatoes.
This is kind of nice, actually.
I know. I kind of was like,
less that we need to do every year.
I was like, do I have anything to do here? Am I not contributing? But I have plenty to do.
I've got a list. If you need
things for me to do.
If you need things to do.
Okay, never mind. I got plenty to do. So Grace is going to make the mashed potatoes. I will make the gravy because my kids absolutely love my gravy. Plus, smoked turkey gravy. How can you go wrong? It's amazing. Right. We're going to have stovetop. We already talked about that. For y'all who weren't here when we talked about stovetop, we're a stovetop stuffing kind of family.
Right.
Samantha's going to make the green beans. She's making a new green bean casserole recipe, which sounds amazing.
Okay.
Kevin's mom's bringing the rolls.
Correct.
Kevin's mom is bringing the cranberry salad.
Yeah.
We are making family dessert, which is the marshmallow fruit cocktail whipped cream dessert that we talked about. Grace is also making mini pecan pies, which pecan pie is actually my favorite kind of pie ever. I've never made one. So this is exciting that she's going to bring them. So we're foregoing the pumpkin pie.
What?
We're not making pumpkin. We don't need 3 kinds of pie.
Oh, I'm going to the store to get pumpkin pie.
You are not.
We need pumpkin pie.
We do?
Yeah, we need pumpkin.
Oh, I don't know.
If I'm going to have a cheat day.
Well, if you want pumpkin pie, I'll make it.
We need to have pumpkin
I don't want store-bought pumpkin pie because that's
one way or another, we're having pumpkin pie.
Okay.
That's all I know.
All right. Well, I'll make pumpkin pie. And then I'm going to make sweet potato casserole with the sweet pecan topping. We don't like marshmallows on top of our sweet potato casserole pie, casserole. We don't like that. But it's going to be the crunchy, kind of buttery, brown sugary pecan topping.
Yeah.
So I think that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's all.
That's it.
Yeah. But the nice thing is I don't have to make all of that by myself this year.
Right. So that's really nice.
It is. But Grace did let me know that she is going to come over on Wednesday and make all of her things at our house.
Yeah, that's fine.
It is fine.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of funny.
We get to see her. We get to spend some time with her.
Well, yeah, my dad will be here.
Now,
and so
are
he can
we
chat
buying all
too.
the ingredients?
I don't know. I don't have any potatoes. I don't buy potatoes. So she's going to have to, and
True. So Grace, if you're watching, you need to bring all your own stuff.
She could be watching.
Gavin, tell Grace she needs to bring all of her own stuff.
No. Normally, Grace cannot watch our live stream because she's at school.
That's true.
But they are off this week, which is why Samantha's home. So she could be watching.
So I'm sure she is watching.
She is, I'm sure. Well, Gavin's moderating, so she has no excuse.
All right. Well, we've passed the half-hour mark.
We have.
So let's open it up to Q&A and find out what you guys want to talk about this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's our tradition. So we would love to know what your traditions are. Leave them in the comments. I'm sure you probably have already, but we'll go back and we'll read them. We really enjoy reading them after the live stream. So make sure you let us know.
Well, first of all, Rich let us know that we have a super chat from Farhan Far. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Farhan said, I learned from you to make yogurt. Thanks.
Hey.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Our cow is due to calve in the middle of December.
Yeah.
Which means we need to get busy.
Right.
Getting that area ready. Just to let you know, just to remind you.
I'm so looking forward to homemade yogurt again because now we're having to buy yogurt at Costco. And while it's not bad, I eat yogurt every day, 7 days a week.
And a lot, not just like a little bitty bit.
365 days a year. I eat yogurt every single day, yogurt and blueberries. If you guys don't know that about me, I'm like a very I could eat the same thing every single day for the rest of my life and I'd be just fine with it. That's just the way I am. So I eat yogurt with blueberries. Now I do mix it up. I get kind of crazy. Some days I put pecans in there and some days I put walnuts in there. So
wait, what about the pumpkin seeds?
No, I don't put those in yogurt.
Oh, okay.
No, those are, I eat pepitas, but not in yogurt. That would be weird.
That would be weird. Okay.
So, but that's what I eat every day. So I am looking forward to homemade yogurt again because it is so much better than the store-bought yogurt. So we're glad that you learned how to make it from us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here's a good one.
Okay.
Earlier today, Kevin told me that last week I just threw him for a total loop because I asked him to show your shirt, his shirt. And this person, Thankful K, wants to know what your shirt says.
All right. It says, Noah was a conspiracy theorist, then it rained. Which is absolutely true.
Yep.
Everybody thought he was crazy. Then it started to rain and they wanted to be on the boat.
That's right. Yep. And the next question also is for you. Did you get a deer?
I did. Well, I have not gotten any more deer from last week. That's the bad news. There were a couple early in the week that I let go by thinking that I would see something better, and I didn't. So I probably should have taken one of those earlier in the week. It's always a double-edged sword. I felt kind of bad because this is probably one of the worst hunting years that I've had in quite a while. I felt like I spent a good amount of time out in my stands. I've got several different areas around our property. So I ended up getting, the one deer. And that's all I've gotten so far this year. So tomorrow is the last day of deer season. I do plan on getting up early and going out tomorrow morning and seeing if I can get one more. But after talking to other people at church and other people that I know in the area, everybody's having a bad year this year. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's the crazy weather that we've had or if it's just like the population's down or what's going on. It sure doesn't seem like the population's down. When you drive around at night, you see a million deer. And I've seen a lot on my trail cameras, but they sure are not moving during daylight hours.
I think that this crazy weather this fall really kind of threw them off. We had some really, really hot weather, and then it kind of got cold, and then it got hot again. And we've kind of been doing that up and down for a couple of months already. Yeah. And I think it kind of screwed them up.
It was even just 2 days ago. It was back up almost to 80 during the day, and that's just weird for the deer.
Right.
Now today was one of those weird days where the high was at like 6 o'clock this morning. It was like 65 degrees when we got up this morning, and then it just got colder and colder all day long. And by like 3 o'clock this afternoon, it was like, in the low 40s. So it's just a weird time of year here.
Yeah. This is a great question from Jody Whitler. And you know what, Jody? Thank you so much for being here like every week and asking really good questions.
Yeah,
because
you do ask good questions every week.
Yeah,
we appreciate it.
And multiple. So we appreciate that. Do you take your fertilized eggs out when you want to hatch more meat birds, or do you let the hens do the work? This late winter, I want to hatch out, but never have before. Could you talk about how? So yes, we do take eggs from our layer flock and we actually incubate them.
Right.
But we have found that the breast hens do go broody, and they probably would take care of hatching them.
Right.
We just haven't done that.
Right.
We want to raise a larger batch of meat birds at once.
Right.
And that's why we take them out and then we incubate them so that we can just have a big kind of butcher day to get all the chicken in the freezer and not have to worry about it. Right. But I am confident that those hens would
they do seem to go broody.
Mm-hmm.
The other risk that you have with allowing the hens to do it is that, they could sit on them for, 18 days and then get up and leave, and you've wasted all that time and you don't end up getting chicks. So yeah, when it comes to the ones that we're raising for our actual meat, we do take them and incubate them. Now we also have allowed our silkies to hatch their own chicks.
Yeah.
And we could take breast eggs and put them under the silkies, and they definitely, the silkies are so good at incubating eggs. But like Sarah said, when we do our breast, when we do for our meat supply, we try to do, like, our incubator holds 56 eggs and we load that thing full.
Right.
So that we get as many as we can.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Great question, though.
Yeah. This is a quick question from Angelina Varado. Sarah, I missed how your testing went, assuming it went well. It did go well. There was nothing to be concerned about. And so that's great.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This next question is about keto from Susanna. Do you eat gravy on keto? Don't you eat gravy on keto? I did dirty keto and would allow myself some carbs, and I still lost a ton of weight.
So like I said earlier, for us, Thanksgiving is a cheat day. I know there are people who do keto and don't believe in cheat days at all, or believe that cheat days are going to set you back a ton. And maybe they do, but you know what? You got to live a little bit also. And so we just allow ourselves to cheat on Thanksgiving. We'll go right back to keto afterwards. We're doing pretty strict keto leading up to Thanksgiving. We watch our weight very carefully. Like we weigh ourselves probably more than we should. We know that we're pretty much on track where we want to be going into the holidays. And instead of like allowing ourselves to cheat, like we don't do like a holiday season. Like, we don't be like, from Thanksgiving to Christmas, we're going to cheat. Because then, like I did that one year and I put on like 10 pounds in that, 6-week period. So we do 2 cheat days. We do Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day, and that's it.
Right. But so in general, no, we would not eat gravy. It's thickened with either flour or cornstarch. I have tried to make gravy using xanthan gum as a thickener, and we really didn't like the consistency. It was kind of
like snot.
It was
kind of like snot.
It was kind of like snot, and we didn't like that. So in general, careful. We don't eat gravy.
Yeah.
So here is a freeze dryer question.
All right.
From Debbie Thompson. I have a recipe that has mayonnaise in it. Will the Harvest Right freezer have an issue with freezing it? Okay, so the reason she's asking this is because the freeze dryers don't do well with oil.
Right.
And mayonnaise has quite a bit of oil in it.
Right.
I would say that if it's part of a recipe, I don't think you'll have a problem.
Okay.
Probably just alone, you probably wouldn't either, because there's so many other ingredients mixed in with it, but it would be iffy if you were just trying to freeze dry mayonnaise.
Right.
But if it's mixed into a recipe, depending on what the recipe is, it should probably be fine.
Okay.
If you're trying to freeze dry egg salad, eggs don't freeze dry well in their separate components, like hard-boiled white and hard-boiled yolk. They don't freeze dry well anyway, and then to add mayonnaise on top of it, I don't think that would be a good combination. I don't think it would rehydrate well. I think it would be pretty gross. But most other things would probably be fine.
Here's something you guys probably don't know about me. I do not eat mayonnaise. That's why I'm kind of looking at her like, don't look at me, because I am not a condiment person. I'll eat like salsa and maybe a little barbecue sauce from time to time, but like I am not a condiment person. I won't no mayonnaise, no sour cream, no cream cheese, no mustard, no.
No, you like stone ground
I
mustard.
I like
or horseradish mustard.
Right. I like the stone, like if it's chunkier, but like no, like for the most part, none of that stuff.
Minimal ketchup.
Oh yeah. I'm not a ketchup guy. Like,
but you'd have it on French fries if you ate French fries.
When I still ate French fries, yes, I would. But even then, like we'd go, like if we went to a restaurant, Sarah would have like a gallon of ketchup for like, a small order of fries, and I would have like, a gallon of fries with like, one of those little bitty things of ketchup. Like, I'm not no. Anyway, there you go. Now the secret's out. I don't eat condiments.
So this one we already kind of covered, but I don't want to ignore Sherry. How are you cooking your turkey? And is a turkey you raise? Yes, and we're doing one smoked and one standard in the oven.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we'll probably freeze dry the leftovers.
Yeah, probably.
If there are any.
This is from Rusty Lilac Farm. What is the one thing you have to have with your Thanksgiving other than turkey?
Family pie. The marshmallow pie. You got to have it. Not Thanksgiving without it. Let me just tell you.
It has taken me years to come to enjoy that, mainly because it has pineapple in it, and I feel about pineapple the way you feel about mayonnaise.
Yeah, she will not have pineapple.
I cannot stand pineapple. No pineapple juice, no pineapple flavoring. People are like, you didn't even taste it. I can taste it.
She can taste it. Let me tell you.
I've tried. It's a beautiful color. I
love pineapple, and our daughters love pineapple.
Yeah. She won't do it. And I can't do cantaloupe either. Oh. I'll grow it. I ain't eating it. Here.
All right.
From Steph and Skip Kane. What turkey should we get for our first time raising one? When should we get them?
Well, the broad-breasted, if you want to just raise one as like a seasonal thing, like you just want to get some turkeys, raise them, butcher for Thanksgiving, and be done for the winter, then you should go with the broad-breasted. If you want to, breed them and hatch your own and have eggs and all of that, you need to go with a heritage breed. So for the broad-breasted, I'm pretty sure that it's like 4.5 to 5 months is what. No?
It's 6 months.
6 months. Okay. 6 months is what you should plan for from the time you get them to the time that you process them. So if you want to process now, there's nothing wrong with processing early.
No.
And having them in the freezer until Thanksgiving. But if you want to do right at Thanksgiving, just count back 6 months, and that's when you should order them from the hatchery.
Yes. For your best experience, for your best first time experience, because if you have a great experience your first time, you'll gain confidence. You'll be much more likely to do it again. I would definitely go with the broad-breasted white.
Correct.
I would get a tom if you can get them sexed, and I would start in April and then butcher in October.
Right.
And you need to watch the hatcheries, because sometimes they only have them for a very limited time.
Right.
And they don't often have like loads and loads of them. So if you can pre-schedule like in February or something like that, if you can order ahead to have them delivered, I'd have them delivered in April.
Like I have birds already on order for next year, like next spring. We have some new geese on order. I'm not going to spill the beans about everything yet, but we have a new breed of geese that we are going to be getting on the homestead next spring. I already have those on order. So, if you can jump online and do that now, a lot of hatcheries will already take orders this far ahead.
Here's a fun question.
Okay.
And I'm going to go because somebody's asking about something I have over there. So I'm going to go get this while you.
Okay.
Gayla Chrysler.
Oh, actually, there's actually a good story to this.
Did you finally get that huge turkey cooked?
Yes. You know what? Because of that huge turkey, That is actually the first year that we ever smoked a turkey because we needed to figure out a way to get this humongous turkey we needed to figure out how to cook it. So that was the first year we cut one in half, and then we learned how to smoke it because we could cut it in half, brine it, and smoke the two halves separately in the smoker that we had at the time. So that's when I remember we bought this little bone saw so we could cut it.
It wasn't even a bone saw. It was.
What was it?
It was what do you call the wall board?
Oh, a drywall saw.
It was a drywall saw. And we thought we were all cool. I think we found it at like a rummage sale or something. Yeah. We're like, this would work really well for turkeys. And we're like cutting it. And then somebody came by and they're like, that's a drywall saw.
It worked. We had that sucker for years.
I know. It finally broke.
Now I use my Sawzall, to be honest. I have a blade that I bought for my Sawzall that's specifically for cutting through bone. Yeah. I just use my Sawzall.
Yeah.
Don't have to do this. Just
right.
And it's done. I use it for deer, pigs, whatever we're butchering at the time. Man, save yourself a lot of work.
Seriously. Okay, this one here. From Margaret Duncan, your orange Dutch oven. I think she's talking about this one. I actually have one that's not as wide, but it's deeper than this. What brand is it? It's the Le Creuset brand.
Yes.
And we actually got multiples of these sent to us from a subscriber many, many years ago.
Yeah.
There was a wonderful subscriber who collected these from that were just like slightly damaged from not Home Goods, but a store kind of like that.
Yeah.
And she reached out to us many years ago and asked if we would want a couple and if we would want some to be able to hold back to give to our kids, our girls, when they got older and got married.
The girls were young at that time.
They were really young. So we were able to get multiple of these. Actually, behind your head, this orange one right there, I use that a lot also. That's also, it's an oblong.
Oh, orange or green?
Did I say orange?
You said orange.
I meant green.
Thought I was seeing things.
Sorry. So I have this one also. I use this one. It's super handy. But I don't want to say that this is the only brand that you should buy.
Right.
Because really any of these enameled cast iron pots are really good. The Lodge brand is good. There's a couple brands on Amazon that are good.
Right.
The ones that I have are really considered like the premium brand, but you guys.
Yeah, they're
pricey. Wicked expensive.
Yeah, we probably wouldn't have them if it
absolutely
wasn't.
I would absolutely not buy these because the price is outrageous.
Right.
I'm super blessed to have them. I really am. I'm so appreciative.
Right.
But
in fact, when we take them to church, people are like, "Wow, those are like really nice."
But don't get scared by that. There are good brands out there.
That's what I'm drinking this week.
People are always asking what we're drinking. So
this week it's Waterloo.
This is
seltzer water.
Yeah, this is
grape flavor.
This is LaCroix tangerine.
No sweetener, no nothing, just grape seltzer water. Mm-hmm. So there you go. When we're talking for a whole hour, gotta drink a little something.
Yeah. So good question, Margaret.
Man, this hour is going fast.
Oh my gosh, we only have 7 more minutes left.
I know.
All right, here we go.
Make it a good one.
We already did those two.
Maybe we should let's let Rich put some up on screen. Rich, surprise us.
Oh boy.
Oh man, we're not gonna know what.
Wait, hold on.
Oh wait.
Hold on.
Wait, that was up
there.
Yep,
that's exactly what I was gonna do. Thank you, Rich.
Jody Whitler. I actually saw that pop up a little while ago and then it went away.
Thank you, Jody, for your super chat of $19.99.
Yes, that was so nice. Thank you so much.
And
we really do appreciate you. Every week you ask wonderful questions and very well thought out. So thank you.
Okay. Rich chose this one.
All right.
From Janice Hunky.
I'm glad you could. I'm at that age where I need my readers on and I don't want to embarrass myself by looking old by having my readers on. So that's why Sarah reads the questions every week.
Well, here's the thing. Here's a little known fact most people don't even know. Okay. I don't see well out of this eye because I had an eye infection that gave me a scar across most of my visual field here. So I have to do this because I'm really just looking with this eye because this eye is super fuzzy. So I can read it, but mostly with this eye.
I just need to sit way back like this. And
You
then
need go-go gadget
right.
arms. Janice asked, I have freeze-dried mixed veggies from both H-E-B and Walmart. The carrots always come out white. Is this normal? It's just the outside. It's just like the outside that gets kind of like a dry.
Almost like freezer burned,
It's no, because if you refrigerate like regular carrots for a long time, you know the outside gets kind of white. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. So don't worry about it. They're not like bad or anything.
So when you rehydrate them, do they turn orange again? Or is it like all of the whatever makes them orange comes out during the...
I don't know.
We've never experienced that.
We're not huge carrot lovers.
No, we're not. But I feel like we've done stuff with carrots, and I don't feel like
they did. One time we did the little baby carrots, and they turned out like white on the outside.
Whitish. They were lighter for sure. I would say it's normal and not to worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry like
I remember
bad
eating those baby carrots, and they were fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were lighter colored. They weren't white,
but
maybe that's because they were big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like bigger.
Yeah, so don't worry about that.
They're fine.
Yeah. Let's see.
No, Rich is picking questions.
Is he picking them?
Yeah, give us another
one.
one.
Oh, here he goes. From Steph and Skip Kane. Again, second question from them.
All right.
Y'all are doing great.
Can you take feathers off the turkey in the chicken feather machine? No, we do not. Our chicken plucker, technically, it may be like the size turkeys we had this year. It maybe could have done like one at a time. But no, in general, we do not use our plucker for turkeys. We hand pluck them. But the feathers on turkeys are so big and they come off so easily that it's really not a big deal. And it's not like we're doing...
Turkeys are so easy to pluck once you dunk them in the hot water.
Yeah.
They're so easy to pluck. They just come right
It probably takes less than 10 minutes to hand pluck a whole turkey.
Mm-hmm.
One tip I'll give you that was shared with us when we were first starting in homesteading, because we didn't have a butchering cone big enough for the turkeys. So an old farmer that lived kind of behind us in Phoenix gave us a hint. And what he said is you take a feed sack, like a plastic feed bag, and you cut a hole in the bottom of the feed bag for the turkey's head to go through. And then you hang the turkey upside down and you put it inside of the feed bag, pull its head through that hole and use that like a butchering cone.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, as it's dying and it starts to flap, it's flapping inside of the bag and it's not like all over the place. You guys, it works so well.
That's the best trick ever.
Right.
Best tip of all time when it comes to butchering turkeys.
Yeah, because they're so big that using, you can't use a standard cone.
Well, and because their wings are so long and wide.
Right.
And when they go through the dying process, they flap those wings.
And they're strong.
And that can bruise the meat because they're flapping so hard. It can bruise the meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a good trick.
Yeah. Okay, next question from Ronnie Brace. Do you have family traditions for Thanksgiving, like watching the parade or watching a movie? Not the parade for sure. No, I used to try to watch the parade when I was little.
I would say we used to try to watch a little bit of it, but we don't really watch much of it.
No.
And no, we are not movie watchers. We're not TV watchers in general. So no, we really don't. If anything, I guess our tradition would be just to like have time to just hang out and, sometimes we'll play a game or something like that, but we're just not big TV people.
Right. Grace and Gavin are really into games and I really appreciate about them because honestly, we're not game people and we would probably never play games if it weren't for them, but we do have a really good time playing games.
Right.
With them on the occasions that we do.
Right.
So that's probably the most traditional thing other than just chatting.
Right.
We just have a good time talking.
I say we always have a good time just hanging out.
Yeah, and joking around. Yeah. Kiwi Glenn. Would you both try holiday foods from other countries? Like here it's ham, lamb, chicken pavlova, and steam pudding.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're super open to trying new things.
Yeah.
There are some things we would never try, like the incubated duck eggs.
Oh, the fertilized
Nope.
duck eggs?
No, we
that's-
would never do that.
No, or those eggs, like they bury those eggs in the ground.
That's
and
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good to me. But everything that you listed there sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would try all of that.
Absolutely. Okay, Homestead Jude. We don't like white meat. Do heritage breeds have more dark meat like the American breast?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In general, all of your hybrid breeds of anything, whether it's turkeys, chickens, anything, they were raised to have more white meat because that's what most people like. I'm with you. I could care less about the white meat. I would rather have more, legs, thighs, things like that. So I'm with you. And in that regards, yes, the heritage breeds, whether it's heritage breeds chickens, heritage breed turkeys, they're going to have more dark meat.
Right. One thing you may not know is that duck and goose are all dark meat.
Right.
And you may really like that.
Right.
We had goose and it was almost like steak.
Yeah.
It was so dark.
Yeah.
And what's that breed of duck that we don't like to raise?
Muscovy.
Muscovies are a very dark, almost beef steak-ish kind of meat. So try those. You might like those too. I mean, nobody says you have to have turkey for
there
Thanksgiving.
are several types of birds that are supposed to be like, to me, the goose was almost identical to steak. Like if and I've said this before on other live streams, like if I ever got alpha gal where I couldn't eat beef, goose would be what I eat. There are other things, like I think it's blue heron that in some places are like here. I don't think there's even a season for them, but in some places,
I think in Florida and stuff.
Yeah, I think Texas might be a place too. And they actually call it ribeye in the sky because it's supposed to taste exactly like beef.
Yeah.
So
there are other options.
Yeah, there are options out there. But to answer your question, yes, the heritage breeds have more dark meat, so that may be what you want to go with if that's what you're looking for.
So Rich has let us know it is final question. So which one will it be?
Yeah, are we gonna do one more? Is that what he's saying, or was that the final question?
I think
one more.
Okay, one more from Voice of Truth.
All right.
In your experience, do you get more lard from a cooney or an Idaho pasture pig? Well,
I think we're getting more lard from me after Thanksgiving. That's probably not what they're asking.
I'm not going to render you. Well, first off, we've never raised cooney, but we are, familiar with them.
Right.
And cooney in general, full size, are going to be probably a quarter of the size of Idaho pasture
maybe
pig.
half, if you're lucky.
So overall, if you're talking like, pound for pound, you're definitely going to get more lard from the Idaho pasture pig, just
in the same amount of time.
Yes, maybe in less time.
Right.
Because in general, the Idaho pasture pigs, you're going to take them to the butcher at 250 pounds live weight or more.
Right.
The coonies grow very, very slowly, and they never get very big, and so it would be very hard to get a lot of lard from them without raising multiples.
Right. The people that we know that have raised coonies, almost all of them have been disappointed. Now, there are people who raise them and absolutely love them. So I'm in no way bashing them. I'm just trying to tell you our experience. In fact, we have some friends at church that were raising coonies, and they just let us know this week that they sold their coonies and they're now raising Idaho pasture pigs, and are actually going to start breeding them. So I think the IPPs win in that category for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So, there you go, you guys. We thank all of you for coming tonight. We hope that you all have a very happy and very blessed Thanksgiving.
Yes.
We hope that you get to spend some great time with your families, just like we will. Like Sarah said, her dad is going to be coming tomorrow. My parents will be coming for Thanksgiving. The kids will be here. It's going to be a great time. The weather looks like it's going to be cold and chilly. So good day to stay inside, spend time with family around a fire, and just have some great food and some great times.
And we just want to let you guys know that these live streams have really become one of our most favorite times of the week.
Yeah.
So really thank you for spending time with us here. And we really appreciate it. And we just hope that you have the most fantastic Thanksgiving of your lives. And we just say, God bless you. And thank you and take care.
Right. And if you're traveling, everybody be safe this week. Let's meet back here next Monday at 6 p.m. Central Time.
Take care, guys. God bless.
God bless.